TempahZone.
What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? This is episode 72 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. My special guest with me brings the sounds to the table, all right? This dude, you don't know what to expect from him. I feel like every time this dude drops a single, I just don't know what to expect. I've heard so many sounds from you, but at the end of the day, it's still you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, I got Aristotle Jones in the building on the Zoom. How's it going, man? How's it going?
It's going good, bro. I'm super psyched to be on the podcast. It's gonna be fun. I've been watching some of your episodes. Like it's some good shit, and I
thank you,
glad
man.
you invited me on. It's gonna be fun.
No, I appreciate that, man. And you know, my thing with the podcast as of now, I've been really more inclined to have people on I've more so met before. Just because I feel like a Zoom call, it's just like it just works better that way if we met before. But
I got you.
Yeah, but I'm always open to having anyone on, man. But, you know, I had to make it happen, man. You know, just in terms of everything that you got going on, you've been able to stay busy in the quarantine. And I think that speaks a lot of volume to the type of artist that you are. It doesn't make you better or worse if you're not dropping music in the quarantine, is not what I'm saying. But it definitely says a lot about you and just a little bit about the work ethic that you got. But did you feel like the quarantine changed anything about your game plan for 2020 at all?
Oh well, yeah, of course. I think like to put it mildly, I was like, we did like one or two shows together before everything went kind of south, and like I was on this kick of like kind of performing at like venues for the first time, like actual like Boston venues, and like I'd never done that before, and I was kind of gaining momentum with like both the live performances and like the stuff I was releasing. And also with my band, we had a show in like Philly. We went out there and we were talking about doing maybe like an East Coast tour over the summer of just like venues from like Maine all the way down, maybe like South Carolina or something. And then that kind of got ground to a halt when like Corona happened. So it's definitely changed up how I've had to attack it. And I definitely like during the quarantine, I think audio streaming went down like a significant amount. And I kind of noticed like the dip in like engagement and like that from not having just kind of interaction at shows and like in person around the city. But I think it's also given me a lot of time to just lock myself in my room with like my computer, because production is like what I'm really passionate about and like how I got into music to begin with. So it's been kind of nice to just have like time where I don't have anything to be good like doing, where I can just like sit down, like bang out some beats, like write some stuff, like experience like some kind of emotion, and like try to translate that to my music. And I think like it's really I've been trying to make the best of it, because it's been hard, because like the good thing about I moved to Boston like a year ago to come to Berkeley, and I had like a lot of people around me and just like a support system of like collaborators and musicians who would help me like kind of fill out my songs. And like without them, I found it kind of like tough at first, but then I kind of just reached out to a lot of my friends and collaborators, both in like the Boston sphere and like the Berkeley sphere. And like, I found that they're like more than happy to like collaborate. So it's really just, you got to make the best of it. But again, like if you're unmotivated and you're not making stuff during the quarantine, like that's perfectly fine. Like it's everyone experiences it differently. And like, one way isn't more valid than any other. So I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely changed it, but I've tried to kind of ride the wave and like do whatever it takes to kind of adapt to the new environment.
Yeah, man, I feel that. And you going to Berkeley, you got a lot of people that you could hit up for any feature or anything of that sort. But have you ever felt that it can be intimidating at times going to Berkeley, because there's so much talent there? But have you ever are you more intimidated than you are comfortable in like that Berkeley situation?
I think when I first showed up, I was really intimidated just by like the sheer talent of the people that were around me.
Yeah, I would be so scared, man.
I got into Berkeley as a piano principal. So I got in like because of how I play keyboard, which honestly is not like my strongest suit. Like I only kind of do it to like play melodies and like chords on production. And I kind of got in just by like being proficient at it. And then like my production, I gave them like my portfolio, and they kind of like that. But I got there and like these other piano students were playing like fucking Chopin, and I'd walk in, they'd be like, blah, 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 and like I can't use my left hand to play at the same time as my right hand. Like I'm not this isn't right for me. So
yeah.
I switched the voice because I want to get like vocal lessons and like both like my singing voice and like try to like figure out like how to do like the best kind of performance wise thing, which is like cool that they're offering that, like, and hopefully I don't know, like it's weird, Berkeley doesn't have any like straight up like rap classes or like anything like that, which is like,
really,
it's a shame. They definitely should.
Yeah, well, in time, hip hop is a very, very young genre, and I think before you know it, we'll see all them hip hop classes, and everybody who grew up on the hip hop can, thrive off of that and be a part of the culture and teach it. I think is definitely an outlet for people who love the rap, just everything hip hop. I think
like right now it's the cultural zeitgeist. Like it's literally like it's the main genre of music for like the majority of like popular culture, like. And that it's never been in that position before. Like first it was like rock and roll, and then it was like pop music, and now it's hip hop. And like obviously at some point it's gonna shift, but like for now it's like the dominant force in music. And like I feel like we're definitely gonna see some like changes like that and more acceptance of it, because like when it emerged, like people were super dismissive of it, as they are of like all new things.
Oh yeah.
People are resistant to change just like as a general concept. But like now that it's like literally like the cultural mainstay, I feel like it's like definitely going to be accepted into like mainstream things as like this kind of generation grows older and like becomes like the educators and shit.
Oh yeah, man. I think I always thought of it to myself like in general, I was just like, wouldn't it be dope to be like a teacher of just hip hop, or just teaching people how to rap? Because I feel confident that a lot of people who rap could very well teach other people, and from there it could spawn into more and more talent, and everyone taking from other people. I think it could be a very dope thing, and I think in time we will definitely see rap become that thing where we are passing down, all right, this is how this is how like a 16's done based on what this guy says or what this guy says. We'll get there. It's just it really needs to take over for that to be the case, because you look at the guitar. Once it got distorted, we got the distorted guitar. It changed everything, but it took time for people to like figure out all the ways we can make it work and make it sound cool. So it's in that same boat, man. But
they told Jimi Hendrix he was playing it wrong when he first started playing guitar. So like that just goes to show like that the cultural norms or what people try to tell you isn't always necessarily like what is right, or like just because it's tradition doesn't mean that you can't improve upon it and like experiment and like create variations of like your own kind of unique style and imprint, which I think a lot of people are doing, which is cool, because like music is way more accessible now than it's ever been. And like you hear such like a wide range of like genre, both like genre and like genres like colliding even. Like it's
I don't think genres aren't as big of a deal as they used to be, and I don't think a lot of people want to talk about that, because it's like, what do you do about that? Like how do we categorize artists now? And I think it's a lot of questions that have to be asked, and I think people are afraid to talk about it, honestly. Because when it comes down to like marketing things and breaking things off, like how do you market someone that does 4 genres? You know what I mean?
It's the argument about like how like the urban artist Grammy would be like exclusively like artists of color. They couldn't like group them together in like a genre kind of way, like musically. So they were like, oh yeah, they're all like musicians of color, so we'll just create like this urban music genre. And it's like, okay, but like
it's like they got like one guy sounds more pop and this guy sounds more R&B. It's like
they got like Beyonce and like Kendrick Lamar in there, and you're just like, this is completely different music. Like
like this should not be in the same category and all that stuff.
Call it what it is. Like I mean, like it's good that it's getting recognition, that they're like, but they shouldn't be calling like the urban award. That's just kind of the optics of that are kind of off,
Oh yeah, I mean, for forever, I mean, at least amongst black people, I'll say it. I mean, we've always seen the word urban as just a code word for black, and I'm not saying that outside of black people, others don't see it that way too. But it's always been that way growing up. Anytime I've seen the word urban, I'm like, that's a nice way to say black. But luckily they changed that, and hopefully, just in the future, we see rap becoming just the main thing. I mean, WAP is number 1, easy. You know what I mean? Like easy number 1. Rap is easily top 10 music now. Like it took a long time for that to happen. And so now we just need more of that to become the thing, because my parents like hip hop, like older people like hip hop because there's so much of it now. So now they can find what they really gravitate towards. Yeah.
My dad was the one who turned me on to hip hop to begin with. Like he's really into like old school kind of like 90s and like even like earlier than that, like hip hop. He was on that back in the day, and like we would go on like trips to like New Hampshire and shit, and he would just like play old school hip hop radio and just be like, oh yeah, like, and then we'd be like rapping every word along to it. And that kind of how I got like the inspiration to like kind of like look into those kind of artists. And that's like where I draw a lot of my inspiration is from like Tribe Called Quest, like EPMD, like old stuff like that. Like
I can definitely hear that, man, your inspirations. I feel like you pick from everywhere, man. Like you're not shy to pick from it. And I feel like sometimes with your vocals, I get like this rock vibe from you too. In terms of like the rock aspect, what bands or just people in general like influence that sound of yours?
Well, honestly, when I was like growing up, when I was like probably like middle school or below that, I had like a classic rock phase. Like I think every like white kid growing up in the Northeast has a classic rock phase.
Shit, man, I'm blacking out a classic rock phase, so I feel you on that. I'm speaking for myself. Shit,
good ass music, bro. Like, and I would listen to like a lot of like Leonard Skinner and just like Queen and kind of shit, and and also like the way I got like into piano was pretty much like playing Billy Joel, like Piano Man, Vienna, that kind of shit. And then like I got into singing through like singing over what I was playing on piano. And then, that's how I kind of like, cause I was singing way before I was rapping. I sang in like talent shows and I was like growing up and shit. And like in high school, I would like do like the yearly like musical or whatever. I did one musical in high school, but that was after I was a rapper. But I would do like the talent shows and shit, and I would like sing like classic rock and shit, and I'd have a band behind me. So I think that's a little bit of where I got the rock influence, because like the 805 is like my songs that I've written pretty much, and then like a couple, like one or two songs that we like produced originally, but like it's mostly my songs that are out that we've done in like a rock arrangement.
Okay. That's good thinking, man.
Yeah, it's mostly rock musicians that are in the band, because it's two of my good friends, Ricky and Aiden, who like interchangeably play bass and guitar, which they're both guitarists, but we have to make one of them play bass, which makes them angry every time. So like, push them up to keep them like complacent. And then we got
that's funny.
We have like a prog rock drummer who like is used to playing like crazy like 9/8 polyrhythm like crazy progressive rock shit. So like a hip hop beat is like super easy for him.
It's nothing. That's like, funny you say that. Playing hip hop beats on a drum is very difficult. Like,
it's like
it's extremely robotic. Like it's not easy. You have to be a freak of nature to pull it off.
He's nuts with it. Like he'll like work in like his like rock fills into like the rap parts. So he'll just come out of nowhere with like some crazy like drum solo thing. He's great. He was supposed to be my roommate. His name is Will Smith. He's a funny guy.
I feel like a lot of people are named Will Smith. There's a football player named Will Smith, like that's just a common name.
He's supposed to be my roommate, but Corona, Berkeley's online this entire first semester, so he's staying back in Virginia.
Okay.
He's taking the semester off, but like we were supposed to be roommates. I'm like, that's why the 805 hasn't put out music in a minute, because like everyone's just kind of scattered everywhere. And like, it's been hard.
Yeah, and there's no live shows going on. Everything is, Corona really done put a halt on everything, man. So the fact that you're even in promo to put out your project is really dope too, man. So I like you said, you gotta just adapt with the times and just keep shit going, man. There's really no other way to go about it. But I got another origin question for you, man. Your rap name is Aristotle Jones. That was the first thing I like when I saw you. I don't know where I think I saw you perform live first, somewhere on Instagram. That was the first thing I said. Aristotle Jones. That sounds like a really cool name. I was like, how did you come up with that? I was like, is his last name actually Jones? People call him Aristotle? How did you get that rap name?
Well, that's good to hear, because I went through a lot of really fucking bad rap names to begin with. Like,
it is what it is, man. That's
really poor stage names before I came up with Aristotle. But my real name is Ethan Cole. And like the whole Cole thing is like, J. Cole kind of already did that. So I want to like,
you couldn't go E. Cole.
Yeah, no. It also sounds like E. coli, and that's just a bacteria. You don't want to be like associating yourself with that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. When you think of a rap name, you have to think of how others could diss you using it.
Like the connotation. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, facts.
And I came up with like a bunch of really bad ones, and then it was just kind of through process of elimination that I came across like Aristotle Jones, which was kind of like I took Latin in high school, which is like just a waste of time and money. Don't take Latin; it's so useful.
It helps with root words and all that, but bro, to speak it is another thing.
Vocab off the SATs the fucking year I took them, so my Latin education was useless, like literally worthless. But yeah, no, I kind of like Aristotle kind of stems from that and like the whole philosophy aspect of like the intellectual side of like the lyricism of the kind of stuff I try to do. And then Jones is kind of like opposite that in that it's like the everyman, kind of like the classic like American last name like Jones. So it's like the intellectual everyman like Aristotle Jones, like the philosopher who's just like one of the dudes like on the street who could see like walking like getting milk or I don't know, like set up from the corner store, but can rap.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I think I've gone through a lot of rap names in my career as well. And so I really, I always tell people when you're choosing that rap name, you got to think of every song that you're ever going to make. If you're making metal music, but your rap name sounds like you're an R&B singer, it's like, well, I mean, I don't know I can't think of an example of an R&B singer name, but like, or if your name's just like Ty, like usually R&B singers, they go by like the first name, no last name, Ty. And you start making metal music, people are gonna be like, it's gonna throw them off. Sometimes you can just tell by a name what you might get from a listener. So your name being that definitely works for what you're trying to do, man, for sure.
The thing is, like, I feel like a lot of artists nowadays, like the weird like SoundCloud generation of like new artists, like their names are so fucking random, like.
Oh man, yeah, for sure.
070 Shake and like fucking I can't even think of
it. 070 Shake. Yeah. It is what it is right now, like is what we have seen in the past with like a Lil or an MC or a Big. Like it's these things have repeated itself in rap. Like so like a lot of people are the three initials and then the rap name. That's a common thing you're seeing all over the place right now. But another thing you're starting to see is people misspelling things. And then that's their rap name. It's almost making me think we're running out of ideas,
Sometimes it's just like nonsense, like 645 AR. That's just like several like numbers followed by letters. I don't even.
Yeah.
Like these names be looking like a barcode. I don't understand how I'm supposed to look you up if you got like fucking 3 hashtags in your name and like a Japanese character.
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy with the rap names now, man. I think it's just like in general, just like I've seen like. This rap. I'm trying to think other genre. Nah, it's just rap. Just the rap names, because like some of them are just hard to pronounce or you don't know for certain. I mean, look at Black. Black to this day is still getting called Six Lack. You know what I mean? Like to this day, he's still Six Lack. He will never shake that off. You know what I mean? Like
he took that upon himself. Like he called himself that. Like
he should have known better, because there's just people out there who just they can't help but mispronounce the name. And the prime example I can think of is XXXTentacion. That name was his name. Rest in peace. His name was butchered like crazy, man. Triple extension, extortion. I don't even know. I've heard so many funny ones. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But at least like Aristotle Jones. It's like I went for like a single name rap name to begin with, but I was like, I don't know. Like a lot of rappers I really respect kind of have like 2 parts of their name to like kind of differentiate themselves, and I wanted my name to like show up if you do like search results somewhere.
Yeah,
so, and that's like kind of generic. But dude, the funny thing is, there's another Aristotle Jones, but he makes like bluegrass music, and he lives in West Virginia, and his actual name is Aristotle Jones.
Okay,
so, I'm kind of shook, bro. So like, if he ever comes knocking, I don't think our music genres intersect. But I've gotten DMs from people being like, "Oh, I saw you like performing down at like the whatever in like West Virginia." I'm like, "Nah, dog, that's not me."
Yeah, it's like that's not me, dog. Yeah. That's pretty funny, man. I would never think someone else would have that name, but I mean, the last name Jones is so uncommon, but the first name Aristotle, you would never think someone's first name would actually be that. That's kind. Oh man, yeah. I think I found an Amir Max, but like it's crazy. They're all in India. They're all on Facebook, and none of them are rappers or singers or nothing, but they're all.
You're golden. You're golden.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that. I was like, of course. I mean, Amir, that's a popular name in that region of the world, so I understand.
There's other Ethan Coles in the world, so I didn't think like that would really cut it.
Nah. So Aristotle Jones, it is, man. I feel that, man. Now. 2020 not only being a thing with COVID, man, we also got an election year on our hands, and people are just angry with both choices. But that's just me digressing. But I want to ask you, do you think it being an election year has put into a certain way that you're releasing your music, or everything, the content matter has changed in any way because of, it being an election year?
I think in part being an election year, and in part like just due to like the general unrest and shit that's been going on, I've been trying to like, and the music that I've been writing recently, I've been trying to be more like socially conscious, and I've been trying to do like some conscious shit. Like I feel like everything I do to like some extent has like some deeper like vested meanings that
for sure
like allude to some stuff like that. But I kind of want to like go into it like making songs that are like about like political change and shit like that, because I'm really passionate about it. Like I like fuck Donald Trump, bro. Like
fuck Donald Trump, man. I'll say that all the time on my podcast, man. Not like I do, but I'm saying like I got no shame in saying it, man. You know what I mean? There's nothing to hold back on it. With that,
like people rag on Biden, but like it's such a fucking easy choice. Like
I'll tell you this, man. When it comes to politics, it's like South Park said: you're voting between a douche and a turd.
Yeah.
That's politics. It's always been that way. All right? It's always been that way.
You're going to get exactly how you want. So, like, maybe vote for, like, the career politician who knows what he's doing, isn't, like, a rapist and a racist, and, wouldn't let the country be destroyed by a pandemic that's been controlled in other countries, like, far better than we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to just look at what, who has more negatives in your eyes. And I think that's how people are voting. But it's a shame that it's come to that point. But
I seriously cannot understand how people vote for Donald Trump. I'm sorry. Like, I get how you can rationalize it if you're ignorant of a lot of other shit. But if you still support him now, like after all the like what has gone on and the shit that he's done and said, he's just indefensible. Like,
you're jaded. There's a lot. Politics is so complicated. So for someone to vote for Trump, I have a bunch of questions to ask you. You know what I mean? Like we have to talk. Like
the thing is, like I don't want to know any of the answers because they're just gonna make me sad. Like
that's the thing. Unfortunately.
No, but I think The World Is Flat's got some political shit on it. I think like the whole tone of the album is kind of like this like gritty conspiracy theory, kind of like riddled, like cryptic, kind of esoteric stuff. And I tried to include some political references. Like I have a line about like 2020 vision, I say something about the election. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's
there. Oh yeah.
I definitely like going into it. I was like, I think this is an appropriate time because like there's a lot of uncertainty right now. There's a lot of like anger, and I think a lot of the songs on it are like exemplifying that kind of atmosphere and that mood. And like I feel like in the current moment that's like something that could resonate with a lot of people, and like and going forward I think like that's definitely something I want to be doing, like promoting like social justice and social reform and like my own like political stances and shit, because I'm not like afraid to come out and say shit. Like I'm not afraid of backlash or like losing fans because they think some dumb shit. Like if you like Donald Trump, I don't fucking care. Like,
and I think that's the thing, it's the saying, it's the great saying, you either stand for something or you stand for nothing. And I think as we get older as just people in general, these feelings are going to kick in. And so I think it's, you know, it's only right that you feel you want to talk about that political shit, you know, because as we get older, these things do matter. We see it more, you know, when it comes to unemployment and everything with, you know, with social unrest. We see it the more we get older. It's not as, you know, covered in the clouds as much. And so I think as artists, to use our platform to make those type of songs, it can really do something. But when, you know, when you do these political songs, you have to understand that there's going to be a group of people out there who are going to lose you. They're going to leave you because of just the fact that you just said, you know, fuck Donald Trump, or, you know, or even just the fact that you didn't even say fuck Donald Trump. You just say, I'm voting for Biden. Like, if you just say that,
that's a bar, bro.
Yeah, you know, people are gonna leave. You know what I mean? Like, people, yeah, you know, people are fickle like that, man. When it comes to like when you speak politics, they don't. There's, you know, left or right. You know, so, you know, it's one of those things, man. But I think, you know, for you, you know, naming it, you know, the title that you have, I think that's very bold, man. I wouldn't, you know, when it comes to that whole conspiracy theory, man, dude,
I don't believe that shit at all.
Yeah, I know you don't. I was about to ask you, do you? That was my next question.
The origin story of the name is actually pretty funny.
Talk about what made you say we're gonna go with that title.
Yeah, sophomore year of high school, I was walking through Harvard Square with a couple friends, and we came across this group of like flat Earth activist guys on the side of the street. And they're like live streaming, and one of them had like a globe, like one of those ones you like spin around like a classroom, like with eye cutouts, and it was on his head. He's actually in a Netflix documentary recently. I saw him and I was like, oh, I know that guy. But we were kind of cheering them on because like my friend Brian and I, who like was honestly the one who got me into rap in high school and like got me like doing all this like shit and like motivated me. We came up with like that idea for an album, like The World is Flat, because like we would just like say that shit to each other, just like to clown each other, because like I don't know, it was just like obviously not. And that was like around when like Kyrie was like coming out with that shit.
Yeah, so, it was very like, it was good for the trolls to say it, but then you had those people that really believed, and that was
And then the people on the side of the road, like we were kind of like going up to them, we were like, yeah, like fuck yeah, world's flat, like government's conspiracy, NASA lies, like all that shit. And then he was like, I had this cover art that's the cover art for the album. It's been done for like 3 years, low key, and I've been trying to make an album to it for like all that time.
Hell yeah.
I showed him that, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna put you on my live stream. So I got on this like flat Earth live stream on Facebook that had like 100,000 views, and I was just like spouting nonsense. And then this like dude with the camera came up to me afterwards, and he was like, oh, do you actually think the world is flat? And I was like, no, I'm just clowning these dudes. And he's like, oh, I'm like a Harvard documentarian. Can I like interview you for this documentary I'm making about like flat Earth people? And I was like, sure. Like,
yeah.
Oh, and then after that, I was like, damn, I really gotta like, the world is flat. Like, and then I had the album art done. Or And I was like, damn, I gotta use that. And then I had that art for like 2 or 3 years, and I was like, I got to get it done for my boy Brian, because he left schools, he switched schools for me, and like we stayed in touch, but like he was like my best friend, the guy who got me to rap, and we were gonna make it together, and I was like, I got to make it for him, and I'm like so glad that it's finally getting out, because I've put like an inordinate amount of effort and time into this shit. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that, especially when you have so many years behind just the idea and the concept. You got to make sure it's executed. You know, 100%.
So many iterations and just like so many scrapped versions and shit that like I'm so glad like I'm this is it. Like I'm happy with every single song on this shit, and I feel like there's not a bad song among them. So I'm really excited to hear what people have to think. Like that's really what I want to hear. Like I want to hear feedback from people, and like I want to hear what I can improve, but also like what people are fucking with. And like
definitely, man. How many tracks do you got on there?
It's 12.
12. Okay, that's a good number.
So it's 8 new songs.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So so this is gonna be a lot of new content for the people, man. I think that's really dope. Yeah. So many projects nowadays. It's like dropping an album, and then there's only like really 3 new songs on this. Like, fam, you already released 9 of these tracks.
No, I wanted to give people something to like give them like a reason to listen to it. So I put like most of the new tracks at the front, so it's pretty front loaded with that. And like the ones that are already out are running out the back. And also like a lot of time and effort went into the order of like the tracks, because I feel like that's mad important when you're putting together an album.
Oh, so important.
Flows and like the sequence of each song.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's because the ones that know like care about that stuff, when you can pull that off and people notice, man, it just amplifies the artistry. It really does. I didn't understand the importance of song listing until like Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? And no one told me that like it was like, oh, like the song order, that's like a thing you gotta be focused on. But like an album like that shows you like. You don't have to take it that serious with the song order, but it matters.
It's stuff you don't think about. And like, if it's like subconscious shit, like if you do that, someone's, like you're going to notice that. Like when you listen to Good Kid, Mad City, it works so well because of the order and like the story it tells. And like, and To Pimp a Butterfly, I think Kendrick did an amazing job with that as well.
Oh yeah, Kendrick's just a concept album guy in general, So he's
I could go on for so long about Kendrick.
Oh yeah, no, Kendrick's a beast. I mean, Kendrick, and everyone in the rap game knows that too. People don't talk about Kendrick in the rap game like any other rapper.
It's because he did that Control verse on that Big Sean song, and everyone was just like, okay,
changed everything. Really did.
Don't fuck with Kendrick.
Yeah, he's like an Eminem. It's like like Eminem back in like 05, 06. Like, you don't talk crazy about the boogeyman. He's like that.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, man. You gotta love it though. I want to ask you though, man. Things are looking good for you in terms of just everything music wise. You really seem like you're in your zone with everything you're putting out. But as artists, man, this shit is hard. This shit is not easy. Not every day is I wrote this many songs. I did this, productive. So I want to ask you, what did you feel was one of the biggest or the biggest obstacle that you had to deal with in your music career at this point? Anything that pops off the top of your head? Getting into Berkeley probably could be one.
Yeah, that shit was kind of tough. Honestly, still kind of reeling that they let me in, but I'm pretty sure. I literally just like said on my mixtape. It was so funny. Like that's what it was. My audition portfolio was just like the first mixtape I dropped.
Yeah, that's good though, man. Hey, sometimes that's all you need to do,
I just came into the audition somehow. I don't know, but thank you, Berkeley. Like,
yeah, right. That's a big push. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest obstacle. Like, I think it's really difficult nowadays in the scene to kind of organically grow, especially like right now due to like, and I think there are a lot of people that try to take advantage of artists who say they have your best interests in mind, but in reality, everyone who's trying to like promote your shit on social media or trying to do something for you, like wants something from you. Like, and like, I think a lot of traps that artists fall into, and I have myself, is like getting kind of caught up in that and getting caught up in the numbers and like getting caught up in needing to see that growth, because it's not always gonna be growing. Like sometimes you're gonna have like a lull, like when you're like in between songs and you're like your audience goes down. It's not like constant growth. There's ups and downs, and like it's dealing with that. It's dealing with like the highest highs when you like get a song that's a hit and like everyone's loving it, and then like your lows when you drop a song like and you're not getting so much love on it, but you got to like persevere and keep going, because it's really that roller coaster, because music is so fucking unpredictable.
Yeah, man.
It's really just that drive, like to keep going and like believe in yourself, because you could have everyone behind you, or you could have everyone against you, but you need to be believing in yourself for like anything you to be doing, like to be authentic. Because if you're not like 100% there for yourself, if you're not 100% committed, then you're going to come off like that, and like people are going to sense that. So like I just think throwing my all behind it, I think I've gotten into that now, but like when I first started, that was difficult. And also like in the Boston scene, it's just kind of it's kind of difficult to find gigs low key, because the scene in Boston's kind of weird in that like
it's very small. Like
really I think community and like really brilliant, but like it's small. It's like it's hard to get.
It just is, man. Yeah,
it's hard to come up. It's hard to get noticed by like a wider audience in Boston than it is in like other cities like New York or like LA and shit. And that's why like a lot of Boston artists end up like leaving and going to other places. But like ideally, I want to see like Boston hip hop like on top. Like I want to see artists coming up through Boston, not leaving, and like using Boston as like a launch pad to like get like an entire like hip hop culture started in the city. That it's around. It's just like, and people in Boston know it and love it, and it's like vibrant, but it's not like really recognized by like the rest of the hip hop community as much as it should be,
Nah, man, definitely not. And I think, when it comes to the Boston rap scene, the Boston music scene, I like to call it the music scene. It's come a long way, man. And I think, especially right now in 2020, I think it's looking pretty good. I think there's a lot of good talent that is peeking through in a way where it's like, they're like,
there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, like they're internationally known. Well, they got a lot of clout behind them that just spans way beyond New England. Not even just Mass. So I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good start because I think for a while in the Boston scene, I think we were kind of lying to ourselves about the people who are really on like that.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna say I'm definitely not gonna say any names. I would never talk down on any Boston artists in general like that. That's not my, that's not my prerogative. But what I am saying is that have been artists who've been popping from Boston and people pretend like they were just as popular as Kendrick Lamar. It's like, or J. Cole, or like, even like, it's like, let's be real with ourselves. And I think we're finally getting to that point in the Boston scene where we're starting to see artists reach to that level of popularity where you can start, you don't have to mention them with just Boston artists. You can mention them with everybody else. We're there. So that's when I think of the Boston music scene, that's how I'm looking at it. I was like, can we be talked about with everybody else in here,
Yeah. I also like in Boston, I feel like I've seen this more recently, but like I've seen less of it recently actually, but there's a lot of this kind of attitude. I feel like of almost like competition over collaboration, which kind of like, I feel like it kind of just like is like the backdrop for a lot of the shit that goes on in Boston. Like there's a lot of people who like will just like squabble like within the Boston scene, and like when in reality, if we all like work together and we're uplifting each other and like that kind of shit, Boston as a scene could like rise way above the level it's currently at. And like the truth is, like, a person working with someone else is always going to have new and different ideas than just working alone, because like collaboration is how you learn and how you like evolve and grow your shit. So if you're just being like, nah, like I don't fuck with people, like it's just a competition, like I don't like these people's success, so I'm just gonna like talk down on them or like hate on them for like blowing up when I'm still at like whatever, or like vice versa. Like it's just a wrong mindset. That's why like I'll do like I talk about like collaborating with people, like anyone who has like good ass music and is chill. Like if they hit me up, I'll work with you. Like it doesn't matter if you're big or small. Like I'm not like, if you have like 10 followers and you send me like a fire ass beat and you got like you're fucking sick at rapping, like I'll make a song with you. Like it's not like I'm just like fucking cloud chasing with people. I want to make good ass music. And like that's a lot of the trap that people fall into as well, is like all my collaborations, I got to make sure I'm like doing it with like these people and like my friends. Like make music with your friends, because like then you can blow up together. And like if you're working with these people you got chemistry with, and like the people that want to see you succeed, then people are gonna like understand that, and they're gonna see your drive and shit like that. Because like people can tell when it's artificial, like rather than organic, and like people can sense the hustle and like the energy that you have, and that's like a big part of it.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you can't be faking this shit, dog. And I think as more people are understanding how social media can be operated, I think people are a lot more susceptible to bullshit. A lot more be on the lookout for. People are a lot more aware that you can buy fake numbers now than they were 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like people were not privy to that information for the longest time. Like so many things I used to not just like completely out artist about. It's all in the open now. I don't gotta say shit now. No, okay.
It makes sense, bro. Like if you're botting your shit, you're paying for like likes or listens or streams or saves. Like it's not helping you. You're not helping yourself. You're
gonna bite you in the ass. Yeah, it's gonna like it might look cool to some people. Like, yeah, you got 20,000 views, but fam, you have 2 likes on that YouTube video.
Yeah, you got like 10,000 like followers, and you got like 30 likes on a photo or some shit. Or
it always bites you in the ass. It always bites you in the ass.
People are like, oh, they're gonna like see that I have like this many followers or like this many streams. I'm gonna get like brand deals and shit. Like, no, marketing experts and like people
they know. Yeah,
they can sniff that shit out super easy. So like you're not fooling anyone, but you're shooting yourself in the foot if anything, because they're gonna be like, what does it look like this?
That's so true. They really can spot that shit real quickly, man. So for anyone, I'm not going to tell you to not buy numbers. I'm not going to tell anyone to not, do what the hell you want to do. But just remember, at the end of the day, it's going to, the truth will always prevail. You know what I mean? So I think
it'll speak for itself. Then you don't need to buy people.
Mm-hmm. Nah, man, nah. It's just a reminder of how important these numbers are to people. And it shows, and it does work. It does work on people that still aren't privy to that information. If oh shoot, it's that blue check, this many followers. Well, it looks pretty legit. Meanwhile, he bought the blue check. He bought the followers. Like people out here buying everything and then performing in front of 10 people.
Yeah, there was like there's this artist. I don't think he was hip hop. He was like rock or something, but he sold out in like an entire European tour just based on like fake streaming numbers, and like no one showed up. And like all these venues got super pissed at him because he couldn't like pay back his like booking fees. And it's like, dude, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Did you think like 300 bots were gonna show up to your shows? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like fam, like what did you think? You should you played yourself all the way through that tour, the whole tour.
Pull the plug way earlier than that. Like,
oh my god, man. Yeah, see, it's like the truth is always going to prevail, man. And I think, when it comes to these numbers and stuff, I won't tell anyone not to, but just remember what's going to happen in the end ultimately. It's going to show itself. So, it is what it is though, man. But Aristotle Jones, I got one more question to ask you before we get out of here. I feel like it all kind of tied into what you said, but I asked this to just about every first-time guest that I have on. What's some advice that you give out there to any new artist, anyone that's just getting started, from Aristotle Jones? What do you tell them?
I think the most relevant piece of advice I've ever been given about music is like just finish whatever you're working on.
That's a good one. Yeah. I don't think anyone said that one. Finish what you start.
I'm such a bad proponent of that because I have
that's a good one. Yeah.
My Ableton projects, I got like 500 beats that are just like a loop or like six bars or like some dumb shit.
I feel that.
It's really like, especially I think when I kind of hold myself to that standard when I start writing shit. Like if I start writing shit, I finish it. No matter if I think it's trash, it's garbage, like, because if you give up on something before you finish it, you can't go back and you can't diagnose what you did wrong. Because when you finish it and you see through to the end, like you can set it down, you can go do some other shit, come back, look at what you did, figure out where you went wrong, or you can just reuse what you're using there, like switch out some shit. Because that's how I write. Like I go through, I sit down and listen to a song, I write some shit, I finish what I'm writing, and then I'll just like sit on it for like a couple weeks before I go record. And I'll just be like walking around just like in my head, like thinking this line could go better here, like this rhyme is like better than this shit. And I'll be in the shower like thinking this shit like all the time, like, and then I'll be like, ah shit, like I gotta like keep repeating it to myself so I can like dry off and like go put this in the fucking mix. But like,
yeah.
It's finish what you start and be really mindful about what works and what doesn't work, because what doesn't work is oftentimes a lot more important for your evolution than what does. You can learn a lot from your mistakes because like
that's a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just found like when I fuck up, a lot of times the solutions that I find are things that I can apply next time around that like will prevent me from making the same mistake and will make everything streamlined and like way easier. Like everything I've learned about production is pretty much come from me screwing something up and then having to look up how to actually do it correctly.
Yeah. For real, dude.
It's really not getting discouraged and just keep it on, because like anyone who makes music will tell you when you start you're bad. Like I feel like no one who starts is just immediately the best or like even good. When you start,
you're gonna start off shitty, man.
Aristotle Jones, when he was called, what was it? I think it was like Tonic. It was like, that was my rap name. It was awful.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good. That's not anymore.
If he'd given up there would not be Aristotle Jones going to Berkeley, like making music out in Boston. So it's really,
facts, bro.
And that Aristotle Jones got a lot of hate. So it's really just learning how to take that hate and turn it into something positive. Because whenever someone sends me a hate message, I'm just like, I honestly just laugh at it because it's like, damn, y'all, you took enough time out of your day to come like hate on me, try to bring me down. That just shows that you are unhappy with my success, which means I have success.
Yeah, man. Hate and love are very related. So I always remind people that.
That's bars right there.
It's true, man. It's true. It's just, hey, this is real shit, man. Just spewing real shit. Man, it is what it is, dog.
Well, thank you for having me on. This has been great.
Nah, man, I'm really happy to have you on. Aristotle Jones, really appreciate you for being on TempahZone podcast, man. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Just
The World is Flat, August 28th. Be there for that. And I got a bunch of other shit coming up. We got to hop on a track soon because I was working on some shit earlier that I thought you'd sound fucking really good on. So I'm gonna send you that at some point.
Yes, we'll talk about after, man, for sure. Hell yeah, man. Aristotle Jones, thank you for being on, man. Appreciate it.
What's up, bro?
All right, peace, y'all.